Thursday Night Football here. We have the Las Vegas Raiders going into LA to take on the Rams. Very peculiar matchup here because the Rams fucking dog shit this year. I think the Colts could beat them.
I think so too.
They won't score 33 points on the Colts. The Raiders are favored by 6. The over-under in this game is 44.5.
The Raiders are kind of sucky still, but I mean, they're kind of figuring out their lives, and the
Yeah.
Rams are just terrible.
Hey, I will say this. The Raiders are on a 3-game win streak, and the Rams are on a 6-game losing streak. So
The Rams are 3-9.
defending
That's
Super Bowl
crazy.
champions, I think it's the worst Super Bowl defending champion record ever.
To be fair, though, they weren't able to sign half of last year's team, so
Still, I mean,
it's understandable.
it's more injuries than anything, and then their offensive line is dog shit. It's a mess for the Rams right now.
I was gonna say at the beginning of the year, I mean, everyone had the Rams penciled in to
Yeah.
make another run, and
Us
here we are.
included. Us
3-9,
included. All of us
yeah.
had them in.
Yeah,
We're like,
crazy.
yep, they're just going to pick right the fuck off. Instead, they fell
I mean,
the
they
fuck
had
off.
no reason not to, though. Yeah, they lost some players, but Jesus, how do you fall off that hard?
Yeah, but the Raiders are on a 3-game win streak, and they're trying to push for the playoffs. So I don't see the Raiders losing this game, and I think the Raiders take out both LA teams in back-to-back weeks here. If I were going to give a score prediction for this game, I think I would say Raiders 31-17. So the Raiders cover the spread, and that covers the 44.5 over.
I don't want to give the Raiders. God damn, they're that relevant. I can't even say their name. Forgot about them. I don't want to give the Raiders more than. I don't want to get them out of the 20s. I don't think they could hit the 30s, even with the Rams.
I mean, the Rams defense is not terrible, but I don't know. And then Baker Mayfield, who knows he's going to play Thursday? I doubt that he does. 2
Doubt
days
it.
to prepare.
No, there's no way. Devontae Adams has been going apeshit as well since they picked up their winning ways again. So, not
I mean,
good.
he's been going apeshit the whole year.
Josh Jacobs has been pretty productive too.
That's when the Raiders have been at their best, is when they run the ball.
Hey, since the Raiders lost to the Colts, they have definitely kicked it up some notches. And like I said, they're back in the thick of the playoff hunt, and they could surprise some people coming into it. I know I've been talking shit about the Raiders all year, but they're finally showing everybody who everybody thought they were going to be. So
What are they?
We'll see if they can
one
keep
game
it
for
up.
500 now?
12 games in.
They're 5-7. Yeah.
I think unanimously we're going to pick the Raiders for this game. I think the Raiders will cover easily. I don't know by how much, but they should cover. I think the point spread's a little high, just because I don't think the Rams could keep up, and I don't think the Raiders are that offensively good enough to put up that many points. So I'm going to pick the under.
I'm gonna go 28-17 Raiders. Kept them in the 20s.
So 28-17 Raiders. That puts you at
The over.
The over.
45.
the
Yeah.
over barely, and
So barely over.
and they cover.
Barely.
I kind of agree with Steven here. Did you have a score, Steven, or no?
Oh, I didn't say a score.
No.
I just don't know how much the Raiders will win by, but I'll say 24-10.
That puts you at what, 34 points, so heavy on the under, and the Raiders cover as well. I like that, actually. I don't think the Raiders score that much, though. I think what little the Rams do have is in their defense, and they've kind of not really held teams down, but that's pretty much all they got at this point. So let's go 17-10 for me. Raiders cover that 6-point spread barely and way under on that.
Next game here, we got the Minnesota Vikings going to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions are favored by 2, believe it or not. The over-under in this game is 53. What do you guys think of the spread? And the Lions being
The
favored.
Lions are favored?
The Lions
Yeah.
are favored.
I mean,
That's
they've been playing
awesome.
good.
I mean, I've said it all season too. The Lions have held on to their games and they just lose at the end. They can't clutch up. Last week they stomped fucking
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's face in. That's who it was. They held on. So I mean, they've been able to produce all year. They've scored a lot of points and almost beat the Eagles at one point. They almost beat Philly. That's
The
all that
Eagles,
matters. Fuck
yeah.
the Eagles. I like that they're favored here. I was actually gonna pick the Lions in this. I don't know what you guys think about it. I'm sure Casey's gonna pick the Vikings away, but I like the Lions here to humble Minnesota a little bit.
They've been humbled already. Minnesota likes to choke against everyone at this point.
Hey,
but-
like I said, Minnesota looks great on paper every year, and then they fuck it up. So
Hey, they're 10-2 though.
they are
Yeah.
10-2 this year, and I told you guys they're going to be good. So
Well, because they know how to hold off a lead. Like you said, the Lions always blow it towards the end. So that it'll be a good game till about the half, and then they're going to fuck it up. That's my take on it. I'm pretty sure the Vikings will be able to hold off on a win.
I think this is going to be a really close NFC North game. I do. I think this is going to be this might be the game of the week, guys. I haven't really seen the rest of the schedule this week, but this is a good matchup. I like the Vikings to win, but I think they win a close one. Game-winning field goal at the end. 30-27. Vikings, well, are +2 right now. Take them straight up. They're +110. So take the Vikings straight up +110 right now. That's the over in the points, right? 53, 30-27. That's over 53.
This could be an interesting game, honestly. I think the Vikings will pull it off, like Casey said, with a last-minute field goal. The Lions can score. The Vikings can obviously score. It's going to be whose defense can stop who. And I think the Vikings have the edge in that category. So
I'm gonna give them a touchdown. It'll be close up until the end. I'm gonna say 31-24. Yeah, that's 7, which takes me to 55. So over.
You got Minnesota winning.
Yeah,
So did all three of you fucking pick Minnesota?
yeah.
You pick the
After
Lions.
Okay, well, here's my first lone wolf. I'm gonna take the Lions here. I like the Lions. It's a good divisional matchup here. I think Aiden Hutchinson is gonna be a problem getting to Kirk Cousins, and he fucking folds under pressure. So that's gonna be the key for Detroit this week. I think is that defensive line getting pressure to Kirk Cousins. I like the Lions here. I like the 31-24 score, Tony, but I like it the other way.
Over.
So yeah. That has them on over, and then the Lions cover that 2-point spread at 7.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Fuck them.
There you go. Go into New York to take on the Giants.
Fuck them.
The Eagles are favored by 7 in this game. The over-under is 45.5. The tie against Washington might come back to haunt the Giants. I think that missed field goal at the end pretty much dashed their playoff hopes because they have to play the Eagles 2 of the next 3 weeks, and I don't think they're winning either one.
I don't know. Philly lost
division
to the
games are
Commanders.
sneaky.
They
Yeah.
did, but I don't
And
think they're
the
losing to the
tied 'em.
Giants.
I don't know, man. I don't like the spread here. I'll tell you that much. I don't like the spread.
Yeah,
But
in the spread, I'd probably take New York +7.
yeah, to
That's
cover.
that's
for
pretty
sure.
big there. It's a division matchup, so they're not the Colts. They're not going to lose by 30, whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, 35.
35.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, 33 in the fourth quarter, by the way.
I mean, it's a division matchup. Those division matchups are always going to be close games, especially in the NFC East. They're dogfights all the time. The Giants are a better version of the Commanders, I think, and the Commanders already beat the Eagles. So I think the Giants can give the Eagles a run for their money, but I think the Eagles have gotten better since they lost to the Commanders. So
Yeah, I think that the Eagles needed that loss, especially by the Commanders, because they were at that point up and coming team. They were decent. They weren't great at the time. So taking that loss from them kind of make the Eagles program say, "Hey, what the fuck happened?" They started running the ball the game right after, which they weren't doing. They put Sanders back in from whatever bullshit was going on their sideline. But I think just because of that, the Eagles are going to be a lot tougher than they were against the Commanders. Like you said, divisional matchups are always tough, but I don't see the Giants coming out of this one with a win.
I think the Eagles are going to win 28-24, and the Giants cover the +7. That gives you over 45.5.
Yes.
yeah, that's a good score. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close game. I think the spread's a little high for this game. It's either going to be a field goal or a 4-point game, like Casey said. I have the Eagles winning. Let's go 27-24.
I'm gonna give them a 10-point spread. I'm gonna say 31-21 to the Eagles, 52, so over.
I like Stephen, Casey, where your heads are at. Division rivalry. I could see the Giants pulling it off. I want the Giants to pull it off because it only helps Dallas at this point. I'll take the Giants at the +7. I'll take the over 45.5 because these offenses are pretty explosive. Defenses not as much, but ultimately the Eagles handle this one in New York. Let's say 31-28. Philly.
The Cleveland Browns are heading into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 47. The Bengals are on a 4-game win streak since they lost to the Browns. Did you know that Burrow has never beaten the Browns? He's 0-4.
That
Changes this week. So
That does change this week.
How is he 3-0 against the Chiefs and 0-4 against the Browns?
it's all about matchups, baby.
Battle of Ohio, the state that nobody cares about. Best
Yeah,
thing to do in
fuck 'em.
Ohio? Leave.
Lose.
Lose to Michigan. But
Bitches.
go blue. I think the Bengals get some revenge here. I think it's close game throughout, and then it ends up being like the Colts Cowboys game at the end. They're not going to score 33 in the fourth quarter, but I think the Bengals pull away by a significant amount at the end. I'm going to give the Bengals to win 34-20, and that puts you over 47. Bengals cover the 6.
Deshaun Watson being back in the Browns, or I guess playing again, he really showed his rust last week. I think he gets better this week, but I think it's still not going to be enough to beat the Bengals, honestly. The Bengals are just playing too hot. They just came off a big win against the Chiefs. I mean, I just don't see them losing at home against the Browns, honestly.
Yeah, he's gonna have to ease his way back in a little bit at a time. That was a poor choice of words. I don't know that Deshaun Watson keeps starting throughout the end of the season. Maybe they should rest him and keep Jacoby Brissett in because Jacoby Brissett was doing just fine.
I think he was just knocking off the
Mhm.
cobwebs in that first game. I think he'll be better as the season goes on.
Yeah, and they'll play him this game for sure, and probably will play him for the rest of the season. But Cleveland will probably put up a good fight here. They've got a good squad. I mean, they have most of the weapons that you'd need to beat the Bengals here, but the Bengals are they're finding their stride again. And like I said last week, they needed that win against Kansas City to get back in their groove. And I think Joey Burrow's gonna start doing what Joey Burrow does and just fucking whip his shit out and show him who's boss. That's where I'm at in this game.
So you
I
think
got-
he
I
gets
think
his
we all-
first win against the Browns?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony, you love both these teams.
I say fuck them both.
Uh,
I hope they tie. Obviously, I need the Bengals to win. What the fuck happened to Casey? I looked right and he's gone.
He's finally gone.
Thank God. I hate that guy.
Pulled a fucking Houdini.
I know.
No. Well, I mean, I'm already all out for the Bengals. Why? Because that puts us ahead of the Browns. I need that win. I need Joe Burrow to pull that out for us.
They're nibbling on the cusp of playoffs. No, wild cards.
They're in the hunt. I mean, they're not. They're about
They're not in
a
right
game
now, but-
behind.
Yeah,
They're a game behind the 7th seed. 2 games
They both
behind.
have- division games are always fun to watch just because they're always you never know what's gonna happen.
I mean, you could say that about any team in the NFL, though. Like, you never know. Anybody could beat
divisional.
anybody. I'm on board with the Bengals here. I spoke my piece that the Browns could keep up, but let's go in reverse order this time. I'm gonna take I'll take the Bengals here, but score wise, we can predict some scores. I'll have Cleveland cover that 6-point spread. I think it'll stay close. Bengals take it ultimately, but +6 for the Browns and over 47.
I'm gonna say 34-17 Bengals. I like where Casey's mind was that they're gonna start out like a close game, but then they're gonna end up getting blown out in the second half.
I have the Bengals winning 28-20, so Cincy covering and with the over. Barely.
Just barely.
Like I said, I got the Browns 34 to sorry, not the Browns. The Bengals 34-20 over the Browns, and Bengals cover over 47. Houston heading into Dallas. Does anybody want to guess what this spread is? Maybe you guys already have it up.
That is a
Yeah,
fucking
it's
spread, God.
This is definitely the biggest spread of the season by any team.
The Cowboys are favored by 17 points in this game. Sorry, John, look away. The over-under is 44.5.
That's the Cowboys 44-0. Let's go.
17-point spread will be accomplished by like the first quarter, by like halfway through the first.
Did you know since
This
you guys
is-
lost in week 10 to the Packers, the Cowboys are averaging 40.7 points per game and
We scored
180
199 points in the last 5
Yeah.
games.
and 180 rushing yards per game. You know who ranks last in the NFL in rush defense?
The Colts.
Houston.
The Texans.
Oh.
Texans.
Yeah, never mind. The other shitty team in
No.
that division.
This game should be a pretty easy win for the Cowboys. I mean, but then again, it is the NFL, like everyone says, and the Texans can shock the world and beat the Cowboys, and then we're
And
back
tie.
to square one.
Here-
Yeah.
Here's
Tie.
a $1 million question for you guys. Do you take the points with Dallas?
By
Minus
themselves?
17.
Oh yeah.
You take
The
minus
spread
17?
coverage. If Dallas doesn't get complacent and they show up and play their game, I always have to say this every week because I never fucking know, and it worries me every week. I was worried about last week though, and rightfully so. The Colts held on until that fourth quarter, and then you guys really just threw that game away.
They literally
You guys were
didn't
in
care.
it.
They literally stopped playing. Like they couldn't get past the 20. It was weird. It was so weird.
I mean, either the Colts gave up or Dallas finally showed up, and the Texans are a worse team than the Colts. They are 1-10-1 at this point. Cowboys are Texas's team. I honestly don't like that Houston is even there because they're just like there, you know. I think Dallas is gonna fucking blow this out of the water. Dallas put up 40 points on the Vikings, 40-3. Don't forget that score. And last week they put up 54 fucking points.
33 in the fourth quarter.
That's insane. The Colts hadn't allowed 30 points in an entire game this season. If Dallas shows up here, I don't want to say it's an easy win because it is the NFL, but it's kind of an easy win. So
I say Cowboys win 35-7.
I actually, I like the Cowboys are going to win this game, no doubt. But I would take Houston plus 17. I think the Cowboys are on a high from last week. Cowboys win 38-23.
So it'll
don't
be
even have a quarterback.
38-3 going into the fourth quarter. And Dallas
And then they're going to take everybody
That's
out.
what we're getting at.
I'm gonna say 34-10. Houston wins.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
can imagine.
Nah, you guys said it all. I'm gonna give at most the Texans 10 points just because their offense hasn't been there for a decade now.
Dallas's defense is too good, man, and they're getting better. In a couple weeks, Dallas is going to get Tyron Smith back too. He'll be playing left tackle. We're going to shift Tyler Smith over to left guard. We finally figured out that running the ball helps. Getting Tony Pollard the ball and having Zeke just fall forward for 5 yards of play is what we're
It's
best
working.
at right now. If they start hot, which I'm going to hope for, I'm going to give them another 50 piece. There's no reason that they shouldn't. If we can put up 54 against the Colts, granted turnovers, they're finding their groove, and hopefully we can just get this fucking train rolling and win out the season. Give me Dallas here. Let's say 50 to 10. Fucking huge.
There is 0% chance they put up 50 2 weeks in a row. 0.
I
There's
don't know. I mean, you play the two worst teams in that conference or that
Maybe
division.
the
well,
two worst
conference
teams in the
too.
league at this point.
Yeah, they're not putting up 50.
Baltimore's traveling into Pittsburgh this week to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are favored in this, believe it or not, by 2.5. And the over-under right now is at 37 points.
So just to start off, like we said earlier, Lamar is on an accident. He isn't an injury, so he is on and off for the Ravens, meaning that Huntley will be playing, which is why the Steelers are favored. I've said it in our chat before, and I've said it in our group text. Lamar has been shit in the bed recently. Most of their
Yes.
points have come from the run game. The Ravens in general have not been high producing as they were in the beginning of the season. So their offense is struggling, especially now without him. They were struggling with him. Huntley isn't producing much for him. He threw a pick for their last. He only threw for 93 yards for the game, and Lamar went out in the first quarter. So he's not producing much in terms of their pass game. The only thing that's been holding the Ravens together has been their defense as of recently. That's the only way they've been winning out, which even against the Jaguars, we saw that they lost. So it should be a good little tune-up game for the Steelers to get Kenny Pickett more comfortable. We've seen that new connection with Freiermuth and him. Pickens and Pickett have been great as well. So we should see a good game from Pickett just to come back from last week. And Deontay Johnson's been getting a lot more involved.
Because he's better.
Yes.
Like he's been getting better from
Yep.
his injuries that he always has. This is going to be one of those ugly AFC North games where it's just like back and forth.
Mhm.
Defense, whatever defense shows up wins the game.
Yep.
I actually like the Steelers in this game to win, especially because, yeah, Tony's mad because every time I pick a Steelers, hey, they picked them last week and they won. No Lamar Jackson, Baltimore's not winning this game.
Hey,
Steelers defense,
what is it, Huntley?
Mhm.
Tyler
He's
Huntley.
not bad. Don't count him out. He's not
mean,
bad.
It's not
He's
him, it's the
basically
rest of
Lamar
their
Jackson
team.
2.0.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens have struggled against decent defenses.
Because
I mean,
of Lamar Jackson, though.
Well, I mean, even then they only put 10 points against the Broncos last week. I
Yep.
mean, the
That's
Broncos
all it
have a good
takes.
defense. I know, but still 10 points. Like, and then also the Jaguars the week before. I mean, they're just so inconsistent offensively that they can't win. I mean, I actually like the Steelers in this game too. I think the Steelers offense is just a lot better in this game right now, and then the Steelers defense is playing well. They got TJ Watt. I mean, I think the defense will hold
Sorry. Who?
TJ Watt.
TJ. What?
What?
Let's go.
I got
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Steelers winning. It's going to be a close game, like Casey said, very defensive based, classic AFC North matchup between these two teams. So give me Steelers 17-14
So you got the Steelers covering 2.5.
with the under.
I don't know if it's going to be that close. Both defenses are good. I think it's going to come down to the offense. The Ravens couldn't score with Lamar. I don't think they're going to be any better without him. So I think they're going to find it hard to get into that end zone. 28-17 Steelers.
I like Tony Steelers as well. I think they cover the 2.5. I like them to win 24-17. 7-point win at Heinz Field. No, it's not Heinz Field. What the fuck is your field? No, it's Heinz Field. Fuck the other.
For sure.
It's
It'll
always Heinz
be
Field.
Heinz Field.
Yeah, nobody cares what else it's called. But yeah, Steelers. I think they put it together. They win. They win by 7.
Is it not called Heinz Field anymore?
No, it's called
It's-
something else.
Acrisure. It got
Oh,
bought out by a bank,
That
much like the
bullshit,
world.
that's right. Okay. I think you guys are all wrong here. I'm taking the fucking Ravens here. I think they'll be just fine. And it's a divisional rivalry. I think it's going to be a super, super close game. I think this is one of those games where last second field goal wins you the game, honestly, off of Justin Tucker's foot. Give me the Ravens here to cover that 2.5 spread and the under for sure. I think it's going to be really low scoring, honestly. I'm going to say 13-14.
That's
Actually, no, 'cause
ugly.
that puts
That's
them
an
at
ugly
11.
game.
Let's say 13-15. 13-15 Ravens.
Tampa Bay is going to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 3.5. The over-under is 37. Imagine being Mr. Irrelevant and your first start's against Tom Brady. Pretty crazy.
Daunting. It's a daunting task.
Pretty crazy. Brock Purdy, by the way. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, this is your moment, dude.
We're going to find out what Brock Purdy's fucking made of, guys. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to at this point. The Niners are a good team. They have a great defense. Tampa Bay hasn't had a great offense. Well, I don't want to say they haven't had a great offense because they have fucking Leonard Fournette back there and Tom Brady. But they haven't had that great of an offense. They haven't scored a lot of points this season.
I don't know how the fuck they won their last game. I have no idea.
Well, fucking Brady.
Yeah, that's just Tom Brady in clutch time. It just that's what it is. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Buccaneers have lost their last 3 road games as well. I don't know. Something in me wants to pick the Buccaneers here, but I don't know if I can.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
I don't know if I can do it though. I don't know. They're going to San Francisco. San Francisco's got a stout team. The whole team is fucking scary.
Or it's gonna fall on Brock Purdy's shoulders. I mean, if he can perform to the ability of at least almost Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they'll run the ball a good amount this game with. I think Elijah Mitchell's back off injury and Christian McCaffrey's in and out of practices, but I think he's fine now. So I think they're going to run the ball a lot, and I think their defense is just too much for Tampa Bay's offense right now. Tom Brady was very, very frustrated in the game yesterday against the Saints. Like, there were a lot of plays where he was making the throws, but the receivers just aren't on the same page. And he just doesn't have that chemistry that he did with like a Gronk, or I mean, you got Mike Evans still down there, but it's just not there. And the offensive line for Tampa Bay is just not there either. So I like San Francisco in this game. It's in San Francisco. That Niners crowd is nuts. I mean, that's where I'm at in this. I don't know what you guys have. Casey, you're almost on the Bucs side.
I'm teetering right now because I think I have to lean San Francisco here, just because, like you said, Daniel, Tampa Bay has not been playing very well, and even Xander in the chat, they have stunk. It upsets me that they're going to win that division. Yeah,
it's really upsetting. I wish Atlanta would come out of that division. I wanted the Saints to, but they've been plagued with injury all season, man. It's depressing.
Yeah, they almost pulled it off yesterday, and then they choked it. So I'm going to pick San Francisco. I'm going to believe in Purdy. It's his moment. And the 49ers win 24-13. Because I don't think the Buccaneers can score a lot of points. Puts you over the, I believe it's 37?
At 37.
Puts you at 37.
Oh, puts me right at 37. So there you go, even. But San Francisco covers.
This is a toss-up because you got the comeback king against the new kid on the block. The only thing that's saving them is the fact that that team is so loaded. So let's say you completely fail at the quarterback spot and you can't throw the ball, you can still rely on the run game. Unless you're fucking Matt Ryan and you fumble it on the one.
You have a Deebo Samuel back there. You have a Brandon Ayuk. You have a George Kittle in your back.
You have a Christian McCaffrey. That team's loaded.
I feel like there's just too much.
San Francisco should win this game, I think. 49ers have made the offense so simple for Jimmy G that I think Purdy should be fine in the system, as we saw last week. But it's a different monster just coming into a game with all that adrenaline and then starting a game by yourself. It's a different monster. So he could get some first-minute nerves and throw a couple picks, but I think they should calm him down, and San Francisco should win this game. I'm going to say they're going to win 24-17. I think it'll be a pretty good game.
All right, I think I'm done teetering. There's just too many weapons for him to lose this game, especially at home. I'm going to say 28-17, though. I'm going to give him a little bit more than that. You
guys are going high scoring as fuck with this game.
There are two explosive. Well, that's one explosive offense.
No, one explosive offense.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette.
And Niners defense, though, you think that the Bucs are going to score 17 in this game?
I mean, it's
possible. I mean, don't get me
possible.
wrong. Anything's possible. I just don't see it. That's just me, though. I'm here with the Niners this week, and I'm taking a low-scoring game, 14-10 San Francisco here. I think a low-scoring little smash-mouth defensive matchup that puts you on the under, and San Francisco covers at 3.5 just barely.
Sunday night football, we have the Miami Dolphins going into LA to take on the Chargers. Miami is favored by 3.5 in this game. The over-under is 52.
Jesus.
That is a high number.
I think the Chargers might be able to hang on to this one a little bit. I don't think they'll win. But, I mean, you just said that they've competed in most of their games. No, it's been a lot of one-score games. I think that's where this is going to end up. It's in LA. I mean, we always say that LA teams don't really have a home crowd, but
they won't. There'll be a lot of Dolphins fans there.
But I mean, either way, I do think Miami has the edge. But I think the Chargers will compete in this game. I think this might be, I don't want to say the game of the week, but I think it's going to be a good game. I like where this game's at with the 3.5 point spread. Miami's favored, they're away, but they are favored. And I like the over under too. I think 52 is a good over under for these two teams. I think it'll be a lot of scoring and not a lot of defense.
Yeah, I mean the Chargers are fighting for their playoff lives right now, so I mean they're gonna put up a fight.
The Chargers are really going to have to amp it up if they want to even make the wild card in that AFC. It's tough this year, but
You guys remember when people were
do it.
saying the whole AFC West was going to make the playoffs? The Chiefs might be the only team that makes playoffs from that division this year.
I'm gonna give it to the Dolphins just because, especially after the Chargers getting beat by the Raiders, who have significantly been struggling. Like you said, I think the Dolphins are the overall better team in this matchup, so I'm gonna give them a close game though. I'm gonna say 27-21.
I like the way you think, Tony, because my score prediction was 27-21 Dolphins. They cover the 3.5 there, and math.
That's under.
That's under the 52.
Yeah, I mean I have the Dolphins winning as well. The Chargers are they just can't win a close game, and this should be a close game. So give me the Dolphins. Let's go 28-24. So Miami covering with the under.
Actually, you'd be even there, wouldn't it? Isn't that 52 points?
yes, 28-24 is 52.
Oh yeah.
But fuck
So-
it, take the even.
Look
Yeah,
at me
take the even.
mathing.
I'm on board with you guys here with this. I think it'll be a close game, like I said earlier, and I think Miami holds on. I'll take Miami at that 3.5 mark, though. It's too small for me. I think it'll be close-ish, like 5-6 point game, maybe even a touchdown. But I like Miami here. Let's go 35-20. Let's go 35-30. I'll take that score. 35-30 Miami.